So, good evening, everyone. It is May the 10th, and this is an exciting, this is kind of a one-off call, and I'm so happy that so many of you could jump on live, and for those watching the recording. I have been working on a little passion project the past few months, something in the background. A friend of a friend had recommended that I speak to this incredible lady called Jennifer about a project that she was working on, bringing women of network marketing together. And I think our first Zoom went for well over an hour as we gushed, getting to know each other and talking about trials and tribulations, the unique challenges of this industry. And we spoke the same language. I've actually felt like I had known Jennifer for a long, long time. Just the kind of one that you're just like, I want to be friends, even aside from business or whatever else that we work on. So rather than me give a boring standard bio, I actually want you girls to introduce yourself if you could. So Jennifer, can I hand over to you? And can you just start by telling us how you got into, your background, your story? I know that you're a mum. I know that you were a physio in a past life. I'm sure you still have that skill. But if you can tell us, how did you get started? How did you come to be a top industry owner?
Sure. Well, thank you, Linda. And thank you, everyone, all 150 of you who have jumped on this call tonight. I'm just so excited to be here, and I'm so honoured to have the chance to talk to you about what I know is all of our passions now in network marketing. And I guess, Linda, just because I know that I don't want to waste anyone's time and I don't want to talk about myself too much, so I'll just give the brief version. But I was a physio, and I thought I would always be a physio, and I sort of stumbled into network marketing, probably as I imagine that a lot of you have, by having a great product experience. And I did have a allergy to network marketing. My mum used to kind of freak out when some of their friends came over for dinner, and mum would say, oh no, I know they're just going to try and make me buy their washing powder, and I don't like their washing powder, and oh, do they really have to come over for dinner? And that's all I really knew about network marketing, was that it was pushy people trying to make their friends buy stuff, and I didn't want to be part of that. And I thought I was a health professional, and I probably had a bit of a pole stuck up my butt, to be honest, about being a little bit better than network marketers. So I didn't really want to get involved, but I as I'm sure a lot of you were, I had this incredible experience, and I was always into being healthy. As being a physio, you would be. But I remember about 2 weeks into to using our products, thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't know that I could feel this good. What if all my friends don't know how good they can feel? And that's just really how it started. And I just had to phone everyone up and say, you got to try this stuff. And of course, some of them said, here's my credit card. And many of them said, have you lost the plot? And that's kind of how it went. So a few yeses and lots of nos. And fast forward just over 2 years, I reached a 7-figure income, and this thing just kind of took off. And I guess my big thing now is that I really would have kept saying no to this industry that I've now fallen in love with, had I not just accidentally stumbled across a great product. And I know so many people, women and men, that's how they fall into the industry. And some come in intentionally for an incredible financial opportunity. But I was really blind and really closed to that. But all I can think now is how many women are like I was and saying no to something that's completely changed my life. And what if we could elevate the profession that we're in? And what if it could be looked upon as something to be proud of by everybody? And what if every family in Australia had a second income stream, you know, and when we met at a party, it would be like, hey, Linda, you know, we'd chat for a while. I'd be like, oh, what do you sell? And I'd be, you know, you'd be to me, what do I sell? And it was just like it's just what everyone does, right? Like we have superannuation, we have a second income stream from a network marketing company. And that's the space that I'd love to get network marketing to that point, that it's just so accepted and so second nature and such a great thing that everybody has access to it. But we have some work to do.
We do. Yeah, we do. And so how many years now total have you been in network marketing industry?
Mm-hmm. So just nearly 6.5.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know some of the first questions that we have, and maybe Anna, do you want to introduce yourself now too? Just a quick bit about your story, and then I'm going to get stuck into these questions.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. I'm so sorry that
you're having so much fun in Bali.
I know. Not even bad about it.
I know.
I'll just show you my view.
No, I don't.
Oh,
there you go. So no, and apologies if the Wi-Fi is not good. It's not good anywhere on the island. But no, I'm in Bali too. Hello, Gina. I've been in network marketing now for 5 years. I'm currently with some of my boss babes, who are my team leaders and my amazing husband. And the fact that it's a Thursday and we get to be here is all thanks to network marketing. But my story really begins 5 years ago, and I was 25 years of age. I was in federal politics, really interested in creating an income to match my goals, essentially, because I knew that I wanted to be more, have more, live more, you know, live this extraordinary life, but I just didn't know how. And I got really excited when I got introduced to a business model of network marketing, because it just made so much sense to me. I thought, here I am as a woman already completely organically sharing everything that I love: skincare, hairdressers, restaurants, makeup, bags. So if the product that I used worked and I shared that and I could get paid for that, I was like, this is an absolute no-brainer. So I was, you know, I always say I was the weirdo that just absolutely dove into this. I thought, you know, I was literally the one that was like, no skepticism. He was skeptic. Oh my God. But I was the one that was like, shut up and take my money. Yeah, stock standard. And just really applied myself with learning the skills, you know, learning and respecting the profession, aligning myself with remarkable women, life of a network marketer, where look at the view and they're all on their phone. But yeah, so really learning the skills and just applying myself, like I said, respecting the profession and just giving it all I had, showing up authentically and really just finding my own voice within my company in this profession. And, you know, for me in the last 5 years, I've earned over $1 million US in our company. Oh my God, I'd love to answer all these questions. I see them coming through. But yeah, just, and it's been remarkable. And I always say to this day, there's no other platform. I actually did a post about it last night. You know, I said, there's just no other platform. When I was in federal politics, I got a degree. I was working my guts out, and I respect that. And we need those people in this world. But for me, I had so many women coming to me saying, you know, because I was a little bit different even back then. And women would say, well, how are you doing what you do? And it was like, I couldn't provide them a platform that could give them abundance and, you know, phenomenal skin or health or whatever product you guys use on the call. But what I love about this is I can have a woman come to me or anyone come to me and say, hey, you know, how is it that you get to live this extraordinary life? How is it that you know, look this way, or et cetera, et cetera. And I can say, well, this is the platform. And I think that's the greatest gift for me in network marketing. And I always say, I'm just getting started. I'll never stop. I want triple this amount of leadership on. This is a team retreat that we're on right now. Because we can. We were just joking today. It's a Thursday. You know, we're drinking coconuts. There's rum in it. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. But yeah, we were just like, you know, network marketing has allowed us to live our best life. So I'm just its biggest fan. I just, you know, completely love this passion project. I love that we're all on a call tonight. Just as a sisterhood, just trying to help one another, really amplify and bring network marketing into the light. And here's what I always say, because I believe that in 2 years, not 5, like people go maybe 5 to 10, I believe in 2 years' time, you're going to meet another woman, sister, brother, whoever you meet, and they're going to say it's not going to be a case of, oh, what's network marketing? It's going to like, how are you will be as common as, you know, oh, what company are you a part of? And you want to be the one in your network for your company that is the one that just is the light and is the one that people refer you to like every single day. And that's what I'm excited about. And we all get to do that as women and as a sisterhood, and just bring it from the opinions that have shrouded it in the past into just this beautiful new light. And I get so excited to be an ambassador for that. So
yes. Yeah. And that's, so I know the questions are buzzing, and look, I've got mine especially prepared, which I almost never do, but I just want to make an impression tonight, not just be my usual lazy self with my tribe. But this one, I know they're just dying to ask. I can feel it. They want to know, oh, if we lost her, hopefully she can hear us.
Yep, she'll be there.
How did you unskeptic the husband? Was it, so first of all, there's two parts, Anna, that I want to grab with you just based on your story. You came in all guns blazing because probably you were kick-ass before, you have a high self-belief, high, you know, self-worth, and you're going to be successful at whatever you wanted to be anyway. So it feels like you kind of brought a lot of swag here. Does that sound right? So you were just kind of, right, this is what I'm doing, and you're the one who's a loser if you don't get it really quickly because this train's leaving.
Okay, so the biggest thing, and my husband actually taught me this, Morgan was the one that taught me how he took me seriously and became unskeptical. I think that's a word. But he always says the thing about husbands and partners in general is they don't want to see you crawl. So it's scary for them. They don't want to see you ridiculed. They don't want to see this be another thing. They don't want to see you fail. And so it can be scary. And he was always like, I took you seriously because you took yourself seriously. And that's like the biggest thing that I've always taken into this. This is how I coach all my women. It's like, if you treat this like a business, if you honor this as a phenomenal profession that it is, they will eventually. And he's always like, I took you seriously in the end, like within the first week, because you took yourself seriously. And he was like, I didn't want to see you crawl, but the second that I saw you walk tall, it was like, I was on. So that's the biggest thing for him. He was like, if women want to be, if they want to move their husbands from skeptic to not being a skeptic, take yourselves more seriously. You know, get to work on this, treat it like a business, show up for it like you would if you just invested $1 million into a franchise. You wouldn't like toe in, toe out, tiptoe, allow objections to stop you. Like, I just sort of became, I wasn't bulletproof. I wasn't perfect. Oh my God, I'm still not. But his biggest thing was, you know, I literally had the conversation. We had an argument. Like, I walked in the door and he was like, this is a pyramid scheme. What a joke. And I just was like, well, that's fun. It's my body, my rules, you know, my income. You don't have to get the t-shirt. You don't have to get the t-shirt and get the tattoo, but I just don't want you to stand in my way. And you don't have to like do this with me, but you have to respect me. And he was like, of course, off you go. And that was the difference. So, you know, big things like that. Respect yourself. They'll respect you. Take yourself seriously and they will take you seriously. That was like the shift for sure.
I love it. And coming in with that is just so refreshing. So those that are ready to do that, there's some incredible verbiage in there. You don't have to get the t-shirt. That's my number one thing. I love it. My body, my rules. I'm going to do it, but you better not get in my way. What do you, while you're still on fire, so my friend Christine has just said you're on fire, have some.
I know, Chris. I love that, Christine. I was like, we're going to be best friends.
Yes.
Obviously.
A lot like each other. Don't worry. Everyone already is making that connection 100%. What do you think? How do you train the girls that don't have as much kick-assery as you straight off the bat? That are maybe on a 6 or a 7. Their belief is building. They love the stories in front of them, but they can't picture themselves, but they're full of hope that what if I could? How do you reach them? What do you say to them to start either building that or just forget about it and just get in action? What's your strategy there?
I think I learned this off a phenomenal woman in our own company, Susan Sly. She always says, action negates all negative emotion. So when you're even like, my biggest thing is don't wait to have the belief to go to take the next step. And it sounds so frustrating, but in the sense that, you know, you don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step, like all those, you know, quotes. But ultimately for me, I'm always like, don't wait until you feel like you have to be a 10, because there's days that I'm not even a 10, but I still put one foot in front of the other and I'll move towards, you know, some form of action. So I'll send a PM or call one of my absolute babes, you know, and have a chat with them and get fired up, or we'll make a plan. It's just, what are the small steps that I can take in every single day in some small way that is going to move the needle forward, and not wait until, because like I said, there's not every day that even I'm a 10. You know, you have down days, off moments, and or everything in between, wall kicking moments. But ultimately, if you're in that, you know, stuck in that, you know, I'm a 7 or I just don't know, it's because you're not taking that continual action, I feel, towards a goal or whatever your goal is to get you there. So have a list of, you know, who can I call in terms of team or mentor, PM can you send to someone to gift them, you know, the products that the company sell? What can you do in some small way, just one tiny action that can move you closer towards your goal? That's the biggest thing. I always say to my girls, please don't wait until you're that 10. Like, I just think we're all podcasted out. Like it's like, oh, I have no belief, I have to go listen to another podcast. I'm like, no, you just have to like get into action that's going to move you closer towards your goal, which is going to give you that belief further, which is going to put more action into your life. So yeah, I just think continual steps of action, and it's not big, scary, grandiose. It's like one text or 1 PM or one phone call, that's it. And then as soon as you do that, it's like, oh, I can do one more. And then it's like 10 o'clock and you've sent like 20 and you're just jamming.
That's awesome. So I love it, because what I'm hearing is you coach your team through storytelling on your own experience, and then, you know, letting them know that it's, you're not needing to be a 10, right where you are at a 5 or a 6, small actions through your own storytelling. And that action is small victories, right? Just anything in the right direction. And our business isn't complex. It's pretty simple. And I love what you said. We're all podcasted out. Gary V posted not long ago, stop freaking looking for more education and inspiration. Get off Facebook. You know what to do. So I really...
Yes, exactly.
I hear that loud and clear. And, okay, one other before... I go back to Jennifer as well. I'm going to, when you've had the biggest doubts in the business, the biggest, those face down moments where you just are like, I'm not sure, is this worth it? Is this for me? And they usually come in a flood, 1, 2, 3, 4 of those tests. What did you turn to? What got you out of that? Or did maybe...
Okay, so this is this is an amazing question. So I always say I've never honestly, and I just always am like, I have to be honest. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I've actually in 5 years never ever had a moment of where I've wanted to quit. Whereas a lot of people are like, okay, I always feel that. And I'm like, look, I've never been there, but I have been brought to tears. Like I did a team call for another team the other day and I was like, I cried this morning in the kitchen. Like that's normal about, you know, our business and so on and so forth. So when that happens, I have a tool belt of things that I do. So we have amazing accountability partners who are like our family, Jimmy and Deb. So if like I call them and I will, because they will tell me to stop it. So they call me on my SHIT. That they're people that I know that I can call that aren't going to get in the story with me and aren't going to let me keep putting myself down or having doubts. So like, stop it. Go and make a call, go for a walk, go hug your husband, like do something that's going to pull you from this. So I will call them, like, and I know that I've got them there. So it's like, who have you got in your life that you can call, or you can, that's not, and this is a difference, not call and they're going to get in the story with you, that you can call that are going to be like, cut it out. Like, this is phenomenal. Like, you're amazing. Let's keep going. And so I wouldn't call my mum, because mum would be like, oh, sweetheart, take a week. Like, oh, you deserve it. I call people that I know are going to just raise me up and raise the bar. And then I love to move my body. So there's little things. I'll take a break of 10 minutes. Like I'll go for a run. I'll go for a walk. I will put on some loud music and change my state. So, oh, there's a light. But yeah, it's little things. Again, it's not getting stuck in the story that this has to be something that I have to sit there and continue in my spiral of despair over, or call someone that I know is going to enable me negatively. It's about who can I call that's going to enable me positively, who's going to call me on my crap, who's going to, move the needle forward again. And then what actions can I take within the business that are going to make me feel better? Like, who can I recognize? Who in the team can I love on? Who can I recognize? Who can I just pour love to in general? And that always puts me in an amazing state. And sometimes it is just being like, this is shit.
Yes.
And feeling the pain, understanding the chaos, and knowing that, in the next hour I can move forward, or having a day. Like it can be different. But I have to say the biggest thing that I do have is like accountability partners who will call me on my crap. And I can call upon at any time, and it can be 5 minutes. Like I can call them and they're like, Anna, stop it. That's literally like what they'll do. And then it's like, okay, thank you. Yeah. And then I move on.
That's great. So are you that accountability partner to others in your team then? Do you kind of set up the rules of the game that it's not the
Sorry, say that again. It broke up.
Do you offer that to your team then, that you can be that person for them? Maybe I've lost her again. Got me?
Oh, it's breaking up. But I think you're asking about the rules of the accountability partners.
Yeah. And for you, do you offer that for your team as well?
Oh,
and they know
big time
that it's not going to be, ain't it awful, and it's so sad, that you'll be that too. What questions or things do you ask them to move them on? Because we love coaching questions in this team.
I think, I don't know. I don't have any rhyme or reason to it. I suppose because for me, I always say to the girls, like, there's going to be walkie moments, down days, moments that you might feel you want to quit. I haven't had that necessarily, but what can we honestly focus on? But this is just who I am, I suppose, as a person in and outside of my company. I don't want to stay focused on the negative, essentially. So if someone calls me, I can say, I get it. And every feeling wants to be felt. So allowing them to feel the frustration and the chaos or the mess or the upset or, the quitting moment, like absolutely honoring that. But then asking them, well, what can we do right now, today, in this moment to move you forward? And for them, it could be like, well, actually, or I ask them simple questions like that, calls them on their SHAT sometimes, like, I know you're feeling this way because you maybe haven't enrolled someone in a couple of weeks, but how many conversations have you had today? How many times have you shared your story today? And if they're like, well, actually none, it's like, that's okay, beautiful. But like, okay, well, how many times have you shared your story about, the product results this week, in a box, if you had to put a number in a box? Well, and I couldn't tell you. Okay, amazing. But let's start there then, because that's probably why you're feeling this way, because you're not doing the do, and that's okay. We can change that. Yeah. But this is where we need to start. You need to actually start getting into action on conversations, which is going to move you forward, which is going to get you enrollments, which is going to make you feel good, which is going to, perpetrate further action. So yeah, it can be not that, as in not like all sunshine and roses, because you call them on their yes. lack of action. Yes. But getting them to identify why they're feeling that way, letting them feel that way, for sure, for a moment, and then asking the questions that are going to sort of make them realize probably why they're feeling that way. Yes. And then creating an action plan. So I want you to get off the call, and I want you to, PM or call or text, whatever feels best for you, 3 people that, that's going to get you into immediate action, so you don't stop, keep feeling this way.
That's fantastic. I love all of this. So one other thing, when we have leaders that are reluctant, junior leaders that are reluctant to lead or to start being a dream keeper or start to maybe be the accountability partner or ask some of those more difficult questions, how do you and your team nurture some of the upcoming leaders and help them find that deeper, braver part of them?
Oh, that's such a good question, and one that I always feel like I'm probably not even qualified to answer, because in the sense that I don't I mean, yes, I'm a leader, but I always think it's so subjective, and our team know this. We're just a couple of babes who have no idea what we're doing. We work our butts off, like, again, well, she's drinking a beer, but we, you know, we always say we lead ourselves. So I always say, show up for yourselves before you show up for the world. Lead yourself before you lead anyone else. You know, love yourself before you love anybody else. So for me, I think when somebody doesn't want to step into that role of leadership, we don't necessarily have that because we don't edify and make examples of leadership and so on. But for us, I'll always say, don't even worry about that, but how can you lead yourself first? Where are you, how can you show up for yourself? How can you love yourself? How can you lead yourself first? And then you just become the beautiful example. So I never intentionally step into, even today, a role of leadership. Yes. But if my life and how I lead myself and how I love myself and how I show up for myself can be an example for others in the process, beautiful. And that's kind of how I lead all the time. These girls, I'm just like, do you, be you, show up for yourself, lead yourself, love yourself, and the rest will flow. And then it kind of takes that pressure off as well, that they don't have to stress themselves out about what leadership looks like, because it can look different for all of us. Even Morgan, who's, his leadership can look different again, but as long as he's leading himself in his own way and again can inspire people in the process, beautiful. So it's such a cool question, and again, like, I'm not qualified for it.
Oh no, I love that answer. That is, yeah, okay. Got goosebumps. It's so, lead yourself. That's often the hardest thing to do, right? It's
sure.
Easy to point the
100%.
finger, do that, but then when we point the finger back, I think that's brilliant, and I think it's one of the best parts of our business is we get to be us. We can model others, yeah. But it is all in the mirror. And I love that you just said even Morgan.
Even Morgsy Bear. I say as well, like, the biggest thing with my girls and our team is, we always say we're in the trenches. So I mean, I think there is not so much, we don't have reluctancy in leadership, yes. If that's, I have no idea, but because in our team, it's sort of just like, we're all just together. It's all like, we're all in the trenches. We're all failing forward. You can do it. It's kind of like, it's just that, like I said, it's just lead yourself and the rest will follow. So, yeah. Jen probably has a far more amazing answer to that than me.
No, and look, you are so refreshing and so gorgeous and so you, and I couldn't imagine you being anyone or anything else. And I think, to me, as soon as I met you, that was just so obvious and a huge part. I don't even actually have to ask you about how, this was another question that people are coming up with. How do you attract your vibe and your, how do you create culture? I want to be there having a rum in a coconut with you. So if that's how you do business, or that's a big part. Any other tips you can add?
Yeah. No, just be like, the biggest thing I always say is, I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I know that, but I am my cup of tea. And you attract your vibe by staying so beautifully and radically authentic to who you are. And the babes that want to be a part of your team will come and want to drink double rum shots in a coconut with you. So I think that's just the biggest thing I always say, like, just unapologetically be who you are. I always say, I joke, I'm Anna Hot Chip Champagne Richards, and that can be like, oh, you should be more professional. And it's like, no, I shouldn't. I wasn't professional in politics. I'm definitely not going to start in federal, what are we in? Network marketing. But I just honor that I'm not everyone's cup. Morgan's like, shh, you're in a bar. But I'm excited.
But it's a Bali bar. They're ready.
It's a Bali bar. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's just like, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and I just honor that. And it's like, that's cool, but I'm some people's cup of tea, and they're going to join the tribe, and we're just going to all vibe out and come to Bali and do our leadership retreats here. So yeah, it's just, you will attract your tribe by not trying to fit a mold or be someone that you're not, or look to leaders and think that's what I have to be. No, they're where they are because they are being so radically and unapologetically themselves. So that's what you've got to do, and then that's how you'll attract your tribe. 100%.
Oh, you are a legend, and I can't wait to hear as I said to these guys, I can't wait for them to meet you, because I've just learned so much from hanging out with you girls the past few months. Just different verbiage, different teachings, and just the many different flavors that we can be in this incredible industry. So if you want to hit the bar, please go ahead. You can tune off if you want it, Anna. We've taken up so much of your time, and I'm grateful. But please, if you want to hang on and stick around, please do. I'm so grateful. Thank you, honey,
Amazing.
for your time there.
Anna,
with your tribe.
Anna, so am I. Thank you so much, babe.
You're so welcome.
I just love having the chance to share you around.
Yeah.
Because you're just such a gem, and I can just see so many comments there, and so many people who just get you, and as do I. And yeah. Anyway, I can't wait for them to meet you face to face and to get lots more.
I'm so excited.
Why don't you go enjoy your people and we can finish off?
Yeah, okay. Love you ladies so much, and I'm so excited to meet so many of you.
Yay.
Thanks,
Thank you, honey.
Thank you.
I'll be at the bar.
Okay, have one for me.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Now, Jen, that was awesome.
Isn't she beautiful?
She's gorgeous. I'm going to pin you now, honey, and maybe revisit some of the questions or go back to some of the others. It feels a bit boring now, doesn't it? It's just kind of like, no, I think we all need a drink in a bar or something. It just feels very quiet and sensible all of a sudden.
Where's our coconut? But that's just Anna, and that's one of the reasons I'm so excited to just grow this space of where we all work, because as you said, I mean, Anna's in the same company as me, different downline, so we're not financially connected. And I've listened to her, I've seen her speak on stage so many times, I've listened to her so many times. We're actually really close friends, but I'm here writing notes. Like it's just, there's always so much. And it's the same when you and I talk, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just want to get you in front of all my people.
Yeah.
I just want to share you with them all.
No, well, we feel the same. So, right, everyone was so studious about getting these great questions to me, so I want to honour them.
Let's go.
What about your, because you did come in and you were allergic to the industry. So you also being a healthcare professional, for all of those healthcare professionals out there, it feels like it's either an advantage, a big advantage once you're in and loving it, but can be a disadvantage at the start because of some of those perceptions. What can you talk to around that? How did you go from the allergy to raving fan?
Well, look, my allergy was the most
love that. I've never heard that.
It was the strongest emotion for me. And so, and I think this is what I've always done and what I think we need to do. And I just figured out a way to say what I needed to say that felt good for me. Yes. And I think that it's really, I love scripts. I love scripts for people who want a recipe and want to learn what to say. And, I think when I went to uni to learn to be a physio, I didn't even know what an arm bone was in first year. And by fourth year, I could actually kind of maybe sort of fix a neck or a back or something. But, they gave us scripts, and the scripts were if someone came in with shoulder pain, all the questions to ask, and then all the tests to perform so that we could diagnose. And so I think when we're learning a new skill, scripts are great. But if they feel so weird that it stops our action, then what's the point?
Yeah.
And so we really have to take some ownership and sort out our own feelings and our own logic and our own beliefs. And so that we're always saying what is true for us.
Yes.
Because if it's not true for us, it's going to come across the wrong way. It's going to sound weird, and people sense that, that underlying energy.
Yeah.
And so for the first 10 months before I went to my first event and I still had my allergy, I would say, hey, Linda, oh my gosh, I can't believe how great I can feel. Do you want to try these products? And you might say, yeah, sure. Send it to me. And then I go, first of all, I have to tell you, unfortunately, it is a network marketing company. But I just kind of look at it like an online shopping account, and I can just go in there and order stuff whenever I want, you know, and it worked because it was true for me.
Right.
You know, and so speaking our truth, even if it's a little bit negative, like I'm not afraid to talk to people about the negativity that surrounds our industry. I love our industry, but it's when I talk to people and I say, yeah, you know, some of the stuff, and like someone said to me the other day, I said, you should really, you know, try this, do this. She was telling me something about health. I said, you should really try this. She goes, oh, I just don't want to end up like, and she said someone's name. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, oh, she's just always gushing positivity, like all the time. And she's like, I know that like it's not all that good all the time, but she's like all over Facebook, you know. And she's like, I don't want to become like that. I'm like, don't worry, you don't have to. But yeah, so I think I forgot your question. I always go off on tangents.
No, I loved it. So what I'm hearing there is, and I think it's such an important point, scripts can guide us. In what I love about scripts is, you know, the basic thing that, you know, even Eric talks about. What wasn't working? What is the, you know, what was my background? What wasn't working? What's the solution? What are you excited about? Just basic story sharing. And so what you are laying on top of that is some of the predetermined scripts didn't feel right for you. So you put in your apology about, oh, it's this network marketing. You spoke about the white elephant, and then you could have a free and easy, honest conversation after that, because it was your honesty that was up front. And it worked because they're still true on, oh, I'm really getting this from you, which is the ultimate truth always as well. I really like that. So use the script as a guide, but be yourself. So there's such a strong theme tonight of anyone can do the business, and they not only should be authentic, they have to be 100% themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So,
absolutely. And there's 7 billion people out there, right? We're only looking for a few hundred in reality.
Yes.
And you know, we can find the few hundred who do resonate with us. There's plenty. There's enough for everyone. We don't have to be like someone else. There are actually 300 or 400 people in the whole entire world that will fall in love with us just the way that we are.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice. Everyone's going to love that. I just know it. How long until this was a really specific question, but I thought it was fun, and you mightn't have had this before. How long until you found your first real follower, believer? And did you stick to the system, or were you a bit rebellious?
As in, do you mean for the products or for the business?
Probably business.
Yeah. I was totally rebellious. Like, I tried to deny it was network marketing for the first 10 months. And so in reality, probably all of my, like, you know, they say to earn, you know, multiple 6, 7-figure income, you probably need 5 really, you know, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, even really good people. That's all, right? And which is just amazes me when I see people quit, and I just think, in the whole world, you're just looking for like 5 people who get it, and you're going to create this crazy income for yourself. That's how our business works. 10 at the outside. Yeah. And like, wouldn't you just want to...
Has that been your experience? Has that been your experience? Is that true to form? Because I know we do hear that all the time, and that really has been my experience. I mean, it is the 4 or 5 that really have a hand up that are saying, I want to go all the way with this.
Yep, it absolutely is. I can look into my business and I can say there's 4 or 5 people who've really created most of it. And the rest have, you know, do a little bit, but I guess it's that 80-20 rule that always shows up.
It does always show up. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were a rebel. And how long did it take you to find like your first one? Did that give you big wind in your sails, or did you find 2 or 3 pretty quickly once you really became loud and proud?
So I had this dream. I feel like I had a dream. I've had a dream experience in network marketing, going from basically being a hater to to a 7-figure residual income. So like, really, how great is that? So, but because I was a hater, I had zero expectation of anything ever coming of it. I didn't think the products would work. I didn't think you actually earned real money. I thought if you ever earned anything, they just gave you more products and you just ended up with this garage full of stuff that you couldn't even use. And so everything was a surprise. And so I never really went and told anyone about how great this business was. It was just one step at a time. And I would really encourage people to do this, because my people say often, how do you tell someone about how much is possible to earn when you don't earn that much? And, I always just say, I just did it. I just only told people about what I had achieved. And so I had a great product experience. I told people about that, and then they came. And then after I told enough people about that, then it was like, oh, I just earned $300. Oh, I just earned $700. Right. Oh my gosh, $2,200. And so it was just, look, and then I would reach out to all those same people and say, there's like $300 a week coming into my bank account every single week. And they'd be like, that's really cool. Do you think we could do that? And I'd be like, well, if I can do that, you can do that. And then I'll tell you what I did. And so it was one step at a time, and they were just one step behind me. And that's how it went.
So important, because we often think that there's this huge thing that happens, that there's this big moment or some rock star just comes in out of nowhere and that magic happens, but it really is all of these different steps. And is it easy to forget just how impactful $300 a week or a month can be? Like, I mean, you're a physiotherapist, so a lot of people might have been assuming, oh, she's loaded. Why would Jen and her husband do this? And yet you were brave in actually saying, oh, look, well, this is my story. This is what's happening for me. Instead of over-promising what wasn't realistic to you then was the 6 and 7 multiple figure incomes, which is a slippery slope, as we know.
Well, it didn't occur to me to overpromise because I didn't believe it was possible, right? And I went to an event at the 10-month mark, and I saw someone walk across stage who was earning $1 million or whatever. But I was like, oh, well, they're a network marketer. They know what they're doing. So that's not going to be possible for me. I didn't even set a goal like that.
I love that. And what were you? Were you the wholesale account or something?
Yeah.
You call yourself? You were the allergic.
I was the person in the back row with my arms crossed going, I'm not going to clap. There's no way I'm going to clap. No, not for their success. I mean, I was not going to be, one of those crazy clacker people. That, I was not going to drink the Kool-Aid. I was
I've definitely had someone come into the business recently, and we were going through some of their concerns, and they said, I'm not quite sure about the clapping. Like, I can't see some clapping. We said, it's okay. If you feel like clapping at some stage, you can join the clappers. I'm definitely a clapper. But you say, arms crossed. Oh, that's hilarious. I love that. We love your honesty. This is what I was excited for everyone to hear. So, 3 things that you tell yourself to guide yourself through the tougher moments, those face down moments. I don't know what happened at any stage for you where you just, what was one of those times?
There's always tough moments in life and in business. It's just how it is. But one of the things I do, and I've always done this, is I just reframe what is hard. So whatever's happened in my day, let's say someone got peeved with me and they're not talking and they misinterpreted something I said, and I don't know, or whatever. Someone sends me a message and says, you're in one of those bloody scam things and you're an idiot and you blah, blah, blah. You're trying to rip people off, whatever. Yeah. And I just go, and it's gut wrenching and it's awful. And then I think, you know what? I remember going to an event one day, and this guy who was speaking, he had, when he was 11, a train ran over and chopped off both his legs, right? And so I just think, well, really, that's what's hard, right? Hard is Hard is having your child die in your arms. Hard is living in Bangladesh and there's no hospitals and you have to walk 10 kilometers while in childbirth and you die at kilometer 9 and so does your baby. Like hard is a 4-year-old kid walking 5 kilometers just to get dirty, muddy water every day. Like hard, we don't know what hard is. And so every time I go into that poor me, this is hard space, and this has been ever since, when we actually started this business, I mean, it wasn't just being a physio and then suddenly earning all this money. I tried lots of things to the tune of losing about, screwing up, making mistakes to the tune of about $1.5 million, property developments, share trading, the whole lot. And so we had $1.5 million in debt to crawl out of. And it's just none of that even is hard when we have electricity, we have a tap where we turn on water. And so I quickly slap myself around, give myself a reframe and remind myself that actually my day is so freaking easy and then it's all good again. And I go, and the other thing that I do is I've learned to love the obstacles. I've learned to look for the obstacles because they're the thing, they're our guiding light. They're the thing. If an obstacle is in our way, it means we need to grow. It means we need to learn. And I see so many people hit the obstacle and turn and run away and they quit, or they say this means it's not meant for me. Whereas I hit the obstacle and I go, right, there's something I don't know here. There's something I need to phone a friend. I need to Google. I need to get a book. I need to go do a course. I need to figure out my way through this obstacle.
Yes.
And it's just that different way of looking at what's hard, what's obstacles. And I think, and understanding that successful people love obstacles. They look forward to them. They get excited. It's like, it's going to be difficult, challenging. There might be some wall kicking moments. It might feel frustrating, but those feelings of frustration means we're about to break through. And that feeling of overwhelm, that feeling of overwhelm means we're learning new stuff. There's all this extra data coming into our brain. And it's like, that means that there's so much going on and we just have to wait for all of our, our neurons and dendrils to connect all that information. And then we get it and then we break through. And so when we learn to love those kind of negative feelings that most people, so if we don't learn to love overwhelm and frustration, what happens? We feel stressed. And when we feel stressed, we release cortisol. And when our body releases cortisol, that actually makes us dumber. That actually makes all those connections not able to happen. So cortisol makes us dumber and fatter. So we don't want that. So what we need to learn to reframe, and we need to go, okay, I feel stressed, I feel overwhelmed. Hey, this is actually good. This means I'm moving somewhere. This means I'm learning, I'm growing. And so it's everything happening up here, really. It's just skills, isn't it?
I love it. I got some new words in there. Did you say gendrils?
Dendrils.
Dendrils. Okay, so that's your reframe, everyone. It's the dendrils. Blame it on them. They're painful, but they're necessary and amazing. So when you come against the obstacle next time, you're ready to smash it. It's no longer an obstacle, right? Because you've got dendrils that recognize what to do.
They do. But we have to get out of that stress space and realize and just go, you know what, like, how bad is it? Like, really? That's how I unstress myself. How bad is it? Like, you could be living in Lebanon with bombs falling over your head.
You have written, I think this is when I really fell in love with you. You wrote a long post, Choose Your Hard, about, and you wrote so many examples there. So after reading that list of 50, like, it's so painful reading the list. You go, oh my goodness. And I had a no. I had someone, question. I had someone have an objection, and thanks for the gratitude slap. I just, it got back to reality again. So I'm going to track that down and repost it because it was a favorite for mine. And we're not in this business because we're looking for ordinary. We're in this business because we want more. We've said no to the default life. So, you know, we're going to have extra challenges, aren't we? We're going to be on the roller coaster, and we're going to be on a bigger, higher roller coaster because of what we're compressing in time. We're not taking 10-year career. This is a 4-year career.
We absolutely are. And I think there's an equation that I love, which is the cost of success equals sacrifice multiplied by delayed gratification. And what that means, sacrifice means, what are we going to give up permanently about ourselves in order to become the person that we need to be to earn the money that we need to earn to live the life we want to live? Because really money, I mean, we could talk about money for a couple of hours, but really money is just choice and freedom and energy and, you know, all of that sort of thing. And if our bank account's a reflection of how we think at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If I thought like Richard Branson, I'd have Richard Branson's bank account. That simple. And I don't think like Richard Branson, so I have my bank account. So what are we willing to give up to completely change about ourselves forever at a cellular level is sacrifice. And then times delayed gratification. What are we willing to give up temporarily to do the things we need to do now so that we can have the things we want to have forever? And I think that people don't understand that there's a cost to success. Financial freedom is not free. It just isn't. It's just like nowhere in the world. This is not just network marketing talk. Financial freedom just is not free in any business, in anything. It just isn't. And so once we understand the cost, we figure out what we need to change about ourselves, who we need to become, and then we figure out what are we going to put off just temporarily so that we can do what we need to do. Then this is the best thing, and this is the bit I don't think people get. It's like if we were in traditional business, that delayed gratification goes on forever, because when you step away from your business, guess what? You don't get paid in most businesses, unless you're a really big picture thinker, which most people aren't, where what they do is they're building a business, gearing it up to step away from it to sell it for lots and lots of money. But most people in traditional business without them, the business doesn't run, or it doesn't run at a profit, right? Whereas network marketing truly does allow us residual income.
Yes.
So if I never say the name of my company again, I still get paid my 7-figure income. Like it's the real deal. It's residual. It's jobs done.
Yes.
And I don't think so. It's that 5-year sacrifice
to
have forever freedom. And traditional business won't give us that.
I love it. And as you said, you did quite a few things in between being a physio and not being 100% fulfilled doing that alone, and then, you know, did some property things and took risk and leverage and lost, and you still weren't convinced that this could be the goal. So I know we can go on all night. I know it. Like, we are nearly at an hour, and I knew that we could, as we warned each other, that we could go on and on, because this is what we have been doing. But I want to respect your time, especially, and everyone else's. The reason, can you just tell me the passion about, because you really are the brains behind redefining network marketing for women, how that came about, and what is it, and what do you have in store for us? I'm a mere collaborator, content provider in here, but, you know, my heart is so excited to be changing this industry with some incredible other women. Can you tell us a little bit? We've got one live event coming up, and that's not for everyone. It's certainly not for newbies, but can you tell us a little bit about this event, and I guess, you know, where everyone can find more info on that too?
So look, essentially, as I kind of mentioned a bit at the start of the call, redefining network marketing came about because I guess once you get to a space where you have true time and financial freedom, it's actually a really confronting space. And, you know, we have that throwaway line where we say to people, I don't know, you know, you hear it in network marketing, if time and money were no object, what would you do? And everyone thinks they'd be in Bali with Anna, you know, drinking rum cocktails. But there's only so many days you could do that for, like, really. And so when you actually go, oh, well, I don't have to do anything today or tomorrow or ever, and I have all this money that comes to me, like, what do I want to do? And it's like, oh, now I actually have to think about who I am and making a difference in the world, or laying around getting bored and fat and turning into an alcoholic on the beach. Like, it's either or, right? And so what I get excited about is imagine helping, empowering, creating, whatever word you want to use. I don't even know what the right word is, but I want to see a whole bunch of women who are earning multiple 6 and 7 figure incomes, who have true time and financial freedom. And together we can sit on a call like this. We can meet in Bali, just like Anna and her people. We can sit around a table and we can say, how are we really going to change the world? How are we going to make this a better world for our children to live in? And the way for me that we need to do that is to break down more barriers to entry into this profession, because I know that some of the best people are not saying yes to this profession because it's a little bit icky. It's still one of those things. It's still got a hangover from some not so great behaviors, whether they were in the past or whether they just still happen now, because people have a lack of skills training. And so what we've created, Linda, as you know, is a whole framework for skills training. And what redefining network marketing is about is creating a movement for women. And I'm not, I love my husband. I'm not anti-men. It's just that in network marketing, it's like in the corporate world, and most of the trainers are men. And women, we see a lot of women, as we become successful, step into our masculine, powerful energy that we think goes with success. But as we don the high heels in the business suits and we start getting, more masculine in our success power, we're actually, we become untouchable to the ones who are actually trying to help. And so this is really about creating a feminine space to learn, a sisterhood, a space to talk about the things that the men can't talk about, the challenges that come with being a mom, being a wife, being a girlfriend, just all of that sort of stuff. So it's really, there's going to be live events, there's going to be online events, there's going to be modules, courses, content, a membership group, a space where we can just dive really deep, get naked, and just really not just fluff over it, and just really get into that space. And so first live event, we're just going to keep it small. It's only for 150 people. We're doing it near the Gold Coast at Kingscliff on Sunday the 3rd of June. It's going to be lovely. Anna will be there speaking. Linda will be speaking. I'll be speaking. Another couple of amazing women will be there speaking on all sorts of different topics. And it's really designed for people who, not, as you said, Linda, not brand new people, but people who are feeling a bit stuck, who are feeling a bit like, something needs to shift, whether it's in the industry or in themselves. And something needs to shift, and it's a real deep dive into stuff that's not typically taught at all at network marketing events, in a safe space. And there's lunch, there's some beautiful gifts. We've got champagne canapes and a little fashion show, and it's just going to be really nice. So I can I can flick you through a link, Linda, and you can post it and share it with anyone who might like to come along. And yeah, it's going to be awesome.
And so I've got a few questions here, because the live event was just sort of not last minute, but
Yeah.
you know, the major thing here is an online campfire group that I know is going to grow and grow and grow, with so many incredible ideas of how we can share and connect and get real. Lots of different trainings for different levels, and even a subscription maybe. But in the meantime, the website is redefiningnetworkmarketing.com.
Yep. All one word.
Networkmarketing.com. And then there's the Facebook business page as well, which is Redefining Network Marketing. So like that, because the posts coming out of there every day is awesome. And there's a lot of contributors doing blogs. And the thing is, this is what I loved about it, that I just was, how can I help? I want to be part of this. Is it speaks to women. It speaks to our feminine fears. It speaks to not feeling enough and the self-worth. And it really speaks to the nurturing part of us, that it has to matter more than money and sales and some of that stuff. And that it's a safe place, Jen, that it's it's not, of course it's not recruiting. No one is ever speaking about the company. There's no, this is what got me straight away. It's not one person. This is a collective. It's the first ever of its kind in network marketing. It's not one person. So that for me is super exciting. There isn't a live stream on this one, but down the track, I know you're already looking at that too.
Yeah, look, down the track, we may be able to live stream events, and there will be lots of online learning. It will be a real online learning space, but I'm sure that you all know that it's the, you know, when you take how many, I think of how many courses I've bought that I just never get around to doing. And it's just being in that space where you're away from the kids and away from the hubby, and you're just there and you're present. And that's, you know, I still try and attend face-to-face events quite frequently through the year, because you just get the job done. Otherwise it sits on my to-do list and I must do an hour on that, and you know, it doesn't get done. So, but we're going to be offering all of those different options. But the live events are going to be, obviously there's stuff that happens at live events that you can't ever record because it just doesn't come across in the same way.